Good day everyone, so today a new Spiral Abyss has dropped, and as always we're just going to quickly discuss it a bit, and there's a bit of background footage here, so don't read anything into it, it's just purely for entertainment. Of course, towards the end of this video we'll just be looking at a bit of a strategy to tackle the second half, so do stick around for that. Right, so let's just talk about the Spiral Abyss. Basically I think Hoyo has kind of missed the mark on this Spiral Abyss because they force you to use a lot of elemental application. Now, ordinarily this is not a problem if you've got hydro enemies or electro enemies or pyro enemies, but the moment that you put in cryo enemies, you only really have one element, and that's pyro, that can effectively sort of work with it. Of course, if you can infuse any animo unit with pyro as well, that is also a big plus, but you can see that your options are a lot more limiting. So for instance, if the enemy had an electro aura on him, well, pyro or cryo or even dendro, well, especially dendro itself, would be very effective in removing it. But if you just have the cryo aura, well, the roster is kind of limited. And what's even more limiting is that our pyro units all tend to, with the exception of Xiangling, do the same thing. So Yoimiya wants to be on field, Hu Tao wants to be on field, Klee wants to be on field, Yanfei wants to be on field, the Luke wants to be on field, Xin Yan has an identity crisis, and unfortunately Daya's coordinated attacks do not trigger on shields because Hoyo don't know how to design the character, and no, you can't use her elemental burst because she has to be on field and she doesn't generate enough particles, so unfortunately Daya is also out of the question, which leaves us with, well, once again, a Xiangling impact. So the off-field pyro application, which is going to be pretty much a necessity, is really just like encapsulated with her. So unless you're playing some like really good like Hu Tao variant with at least a shield or some healing, then you're pretty much going to be stuck using Xiangling for the second halves, just because that power application is just so good. And that's what I mean, Hoyo hasn't really thought this through. The moment you put in a cryo aura, because we've got such a lack of good pyro units, you're gonna be forced to just go with Xiangling, and unfortunately that just kills the fun out of the Spiral Abyss. The Spiral Abyss is supposed to be, in terms of the casualness of this game, a place where you can use a variety of team comps, not a place where you are forced to effectively use a limited roster. Now of course this can change if you've got like a very well built account, you've got lots of varieties in terms of units, and you've got very strong and well built units, but most F2P players that I sort of know aren't that serious about the Spiral Abyss. So unlike Sevi Plays and some of the other big content creators, you're probably not going to have as good as a time as them, so it's going to be difficult. So what can you do? Well, I want to introduce you to what is called Sunfire. So first of all, notice the little small thing I'm doing. I'm pushing the little what do you call it, mages, whatever, together, and then I'm activating Bennett and Jean's burst simultaneously, and look at that, that just literally shreds both of their shields at the same time. So what happens is that Bennett applies like pyro every second, Jean obviously applies animo, and the two of these sort of reactions can hit the enemy, and then you can effectively like swirl the little pyro onto the enemies, which just helps break the shields that much faster. So that is the big little tip that I can give you. So if you're like me and you absolutely hate Xiangling with everything inside you, you could potentially try and use a Jean or Bennett sort of combo, but that would require you to sort of clear your first halves quite a bit faster. But let's just sort of look again at a demo. So once again, we put down the Bennett and then Jean with just an iframe with our other units, and look at that, we are just melting those cryo auras. You'll see that the cryo auras are going to be gone in just about an instant. So that is one strategy that you guys can perhaps use. But alright, that is enough for this Spiral Abyss. I'm going to go and play this on my alt account, and then hopefully over the weekend you'll see some more videos. Thanks for watching.